Hi everybody, this is Dario. Welcome back to my channel Motley Reads. This is a video. Despite it's the 5th of June, I will be doing a May video now, and during month of May, I've been participating in maybe Midrash, which is a booktube event that is originated by Jason over at All Blues chapter and verse. Felicia over at Little Prayer Library, and Steve Donahue. And the booktube event is about reading the spiritual readings and having these types of discussions. The rules are such that you need to read one at least one fiction and one non-fiction book. So I will tell you a little bit of what I've been doing, and some of you have seen me participate already in an event that was shown at a different channel, at the channel that was run by my friend Noah at Everybody Who Reads Must Converse. So I will mention that as well. I will leave links down below. So first, let me tell you about the fiction book I read. I read this one, Gillette by Marilyn Robinson. I know many of you love Marilyn Robinson. You've been reading her books. She wrote in this series in total 4 books. So this is the first one. Second one, I think it's second one is Home, and then Lila, and then Jack is finally the one that is just published, the 4th book. I just learned about that. This is the series that as I said, many of you like very much. My wife also have read them, recommended to me to read them. So I did read Gillette, and I liked it very, very much. In the center of the book is an old reverend, John Ames, and the setting is a small town in America, and it is 1950s. Reverend John Ames is a very, very old man, and he is at the very end of his life. He's married to a much younger woman, and with her he has a son that is only 8 years old. And this book is a letter that Reverend Ames is writing for his son, so that his son will have something left from him. So it is describing very much events from John Ames's life, very much about his reflections upon the nature of divinity, the religion, and religious rituals, about the religious pictures, about life itself, really very much. And what really surprised me, and I never saw really, maybe it's stupid of me, but I never really saw people that are in the end of their life that they would have so much anxiety and fear for things ending, and especially people who are religious, as the Reverend Ames is, and he is portrayed here as a very, very anxious person, and the source of his anxiety is really very much his legacy, and uncertainty with regard to how his wife and his son will make it in a world after him. This is 50 small town, and lots of poverty, lots of despite people being close to each other in this small town, still you can feel this kind of underlying hostility. It was a very melancholic yet still hopeful book. I must say, when you do all these kinds of reflections, you end up content with with the state of things, really. And I think, somewhere even Pastor Ames throughout his book, that's where he ends up. So this was very interesting reading. Also, sections where we explores Bible, the nature of commandments, how they are related, for instance, is very interesting, from, I guess, from a theological perspective. So very, masterfully written by Marilyn Robinson. The book won Pulitzer Prize for fiction as well, and I'm very much looking forward to read the rest of the series. So Gillette by Marilyn Robinson, highly recommended. Then on my non-fiction reading, I had two things that I read. First of all is a graphic novel. The name of this graphic novel is Science and Faith. And this graphic novel is based on a book by Alfio Bruglia and Giuseppe Savagnone, who are two Italian academics who wrote this book, about the compatibility of a scientific view on the world and having a faith, in a religious sense. The book in itself is then turned into this adaptation as a graphic novel by Tommaso Todesca, and Tommaso Todesca is our friend, my friend, Tom LA Books, who is doing. I'm sure many of you know Tom from his excellent series on Dante. He's still doing these episodes on Dante, walking through each of the cantos of Dante with great and generously sharing his scholar knowledge of Dante, really. Now this book here this adaptation is really beautifully done, easily accessible, really written for people like me, and I think that everybody, religious people, atheists and agnostics like me, everybody gets out something from it, and gets a higher understanding, I think, for each other and for the nature of things regarding this particular topic. I will not tell more about it here. I will leave links down below to 3 discussions that I had with Tom, with Noah, of everyone who reads it must converse, and Christian Lewis of Dostoevsky in Space. We had 3 excellent discussions on this topic. So yeah, I really enjoyed this very much. And then finally, the non-fiction thing that another non-fiction thing that I did for maybe Midrash is the discussion or the discourse on the nature of free will between Erasmus of Rotterdam and Martin Luther. So this is 1524 work by Erasmus of Rotterdam, who in the middle of 16th century was intellectual powerhouse in Europe. It is in some assessments are that he is behind, I don't know, 1/3 of the all writing that was done in Europe during his lifetime. A great scholar and a great thinker from the beginning. He's coming from a poor family. He becomes a monk, but then he gets released from his, I don't know how to call it in English, monkship, whatever you call it, by the Pope himself. He's a theologian and very much in favor of an intellectual approach to all matters in the world, including faith. And then we have Martin Luther, the father of Lutheranism and father of Protestantism, and who has written a lot. So these two guys, they were contemporary. They knew each other through writing. Martin Luther was deemed as a heretic, because he was really opposing papacy. He was opposing everything that the church was standing for back then, because he saw church as being, this corrupt institution with that was doing just meaningless rituals and just being there to enrich a small elite. At that point of time, church was basically selling salvation to the people. This was the view that he was opposing very much. Because of that, he was really not he was seen as a persona non grata, really. And he was in the beginning of his journey. He liked Erasmus very much, and he looked up to Erasmus. And Erasmus himself, he was from the beginning, he kind of liked the attention from Luther. But as Luther became more and more unpopular, Erasmus got very nervous about that and tried to distance himself, and not really wanting to be associated with him. But the more he was kind of trying to distance himself, people were appear to believe that these two guys are interrelated. So some people even called Luther Erasmian. All the people that were against the church back then were Lutherans, and Luther himself was seen as Erasmian. And so this was a period of time where it was a huge intellectual debate and pretty dangerous period for people who were talking and thinking too much about these things. And Erasmus of Rotterdam wrote this book about the nature of a free will, where he is basically debating that the human beings, they really have a free will to do good and bad things, and they are. They are when they are impregnated with the God's grace, then they get the power actually to do good things. And he's working very much with this duality of a free will and the divine grace that kind of permeates us, and basically making us to work constructively into building up our own salvation or damnation, depending on which way we choose. And he's utilizing a Bible itself as a proof for this particular standpoint of his, and he's referring very much to different passages, because he knows, as he's been reading Martin Luther's writings, that Martin Luther himself doesn't really see free will as anything that is notable or even existing. So he's using Bible as a proof here, and saying really that okay, if there is no free will, the whole Bible is really nonsense. It is all the teachings of Bible, all the prescriptions of Bible, everything that is basically making Bible becoming kind of a handbook for life, if you like, is really not there without free will. So this is basically his thesis. And then Martin Luther writes back, and he writes back this raging reply. These two guys, they are very polite to each other when they write about this. Erasmus is very much reasoning in his way, in his approach. He's very elitistic as well, because he's writing in his writing that people who don't understand and who do not have education shouldn't even attempt to actually try to analyze things and discuss things. They should just believe into what clergy tells them. So that's kind of a bit elitistic way, and I guess it's also kind of a smart move to kind of please people of a church and really show them, okay guys, I'm one of you, I'm not a part of this revolutionary movement. I would say, and he's writing still in a respectful tone. Then this guy replies, and he also on the surface writes in respectful tone. He starts with that, but then he is extremely, when I read this, extremely offensive against Erasmus, and really questioning his good intentions, questioning why simple things, because he thinks that the whole matter of free will, its non-existence, it is very simple. Why Erasmus is packaging this clear thing into so many words and such a complicated, complicating the discourse. It must be foul intentions behind that, and he's also questioning his intellectual capabilities. Very much getting into personal attacks while he is kind of promoting his thesis on and on and on and on again. The same thesis that basically there is no free will whatsoever, that the only thing that exists is God's grace, and we cannot obtain God's grace by ourselves. We cannot decide whether we should obtain it. God really fulfill ourselves, and if we are good people, then we will be through God, by God acting in us, do good things. If we are evil people, God would through us act in evil way. But this whole thing is, we really don't have a choice at all. The only thing that we should strive for is to have a faith in God. And so if we have a faith in God, then God will act through us, through our true nature, and that would be basically way to salvation. And he is also saying that reason, it's really folly of humanity. This picture of having a reason, that's folly of humanity. And through reasoning, if you're taking that stand that you actually through reasoning can, and through free will, be on your way to salvation, you would never know if you have done enough to please God. But if you have a faith, without reasoning, without thinking, just having faith, that's the actually best way to salvation. But again, you cannot choose to have it. And I don't understand this. I really don't get it. I'm more in a kind of a Erasmus kind of a guy than Luther kind of a guy, because I think that I'm not sure if we are able really to understand the nature of divine, that we understand what the world is, why the world is like it is. We can understand how things are working in nature and so on, but the big why, perhaps we can't understand, but we can strive through reason actually to get there, because that's the only tool we have. The whole matter of faith is a bit alien for me, and I'm really working on it, trying to understand the concept of faith to reasoning. I'm not really sure that I'm ever going to arrive there. I'm definitely trying to do my best. So to me, the whole line of argument, since it is not logic in what Luther is writing, to me it's very difficult to grasp. Here it is more easier to grasp, even though here in the case of Erasmus, also the precondition is that you should be Christian, you should have a faith, and then it would make sense to you, because then you are using your reasoning, you're choosing a way forward, and then God's grace is working through you, and this together is actually bringing you to salvation. I can intellectually grasp what he means here. It's a bit difficult. Here you shouldn't even try to think. That's at least how I interpret this, and so if I'm to choose side in the debate between Luther and Erasmus, definitely Erasmus, and fantastic guy. I read another book by him, the Praise of Folly, which is a really fantastic read, very much describing the whole society of 16th century Europe. Beautifully written. It's highly recommended. So I'm happy that I agree with Erasmus, because in the beginning I was like, let's see, who will really get me, Erasmus or Luther, but he mentioned actually to keep me. But still I will try to understand more of Luther by trying to get into, but trying to, if not understand, at least get at peace with faith, what the faith is, and this is a part of the whole maybe Midrash thing, is actually to get there. I think second year in a row, I will continue search, but I will not wait until May next year. I will continue reading stuff, and I will get back to you on that. So this is my reading for maybe Midrash. Great event. Thank you very much, all the hosts, and thank you very much, my debate buddies. I had these fantastic debates with as I said, with Noah, Tom, and Christy. I had also fantastically interesting chats on Voxer with Steve. So it was very it was a lot of fun during month of May with this. So yeah, so this is it. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, take care. Bye.